Now here's the situation. Your cat has been diagnosed with nose cancer. As a pet parent myself, I know this is one of the most difficult experiences that you can ever go through. And I can also relate if you'd want to give him the best medical care to help him get through this ordeal. But the thing is, I'd just like to tell you as early as now that resorting to conventional medicine and similar procedures isn't just your only option when dealing with cat nose cancer. Interestingly, there are actually natural remedies, and they're backed by scientific evidence too, that you can use to support your feline family member during this serious disease. And the best thing about the whole thing is that chances are you may already have these natural remedies in your kitchen or pantry. So make sure you watch this video all the way through to find out what they are. Before we get started though, I'd just like to ask you to click on the subscribe button so you can easily access all of my videos, which are focused on keeping pets happy and healthy using natural means. I'd also really appreciate it if you can hit the bell icon so you'll be immediately given a heads up once I have new content available. Given that pet health issues tend to get in the picture unexpectedly, my comprehensive yet simple to follow videos will be your guide on how to naturally deal with them the right way. As a homeopath and a pet parent, I've made it my mission to provide useful, practical, and science-backed information on how to support your animal family member during health and wellness problems. While the sheer amount of information that you can come across the World Wide Web these days is simply staggering, it's really frustrating that you can't easily get access to handy and convenient details on holistic healing and support until now. This is the biggest reason why my team and I at Zumalka are sharing our knowledge and expertise through these videos to let you know that conventional medicine isn't just the way to go when it comes to giving your pet the quality of life you've always dreamed of. Since we're going to touch on the natural remedies for nose cancer in cats, I think it's proper that we kick things off by having a quick backgrounder on what this disease is. Cat nose cancer basically takes place when there is a significant amount of division and growth of abnormal and damaged cells in a cat's sinus and nasal passages. Although these abnormal and damaged cells often die out or are terminated by a cat's own immune system under typical circumstances, they somehow manage to survive and even multiply during nose cancer in cats. Interestingly, there are three most common types of cat nose cancer, namely carcinoma, lymphoma, as well as squamous cell carcinoma. I'll briefly describe each one so you can understand them better. Carcinoma is usually set off by the constant accumulation of abnormal and damaged cells in and around a cat's sinus and nasal passages. This type of cat nose cancer is usually indicated by bumpy rashes and sores. As for lymphoma, this type of cat nose cancer is triggered by the irregular activity of the lymphocyte, which is one of the kinds of white blood cells that compose a cat's immune system. Its adverse effects are often limited to the nasal passages. Moreover, squamous cell carcinoma is a type of nose cancer in cats that begins in the scale-like tissues that line the interior of the nose and sinus cavity. Now we've got that taken care of, let's find out what nose cancer looks like on a cat. Given its name, cat nose cancer primarily exhibits symptoms that affect the nasal and sinus passageways. One of the most common indicators that a cat is afflicted with nose cancer is the appearance of bumpy rashes and sores in and around the nasal area that never seem to heal. It is also accompanied with difficulty in breathing as well as nasal discharge and bouts of nosebleeds. Additionally, here are some other key indicators of nose cancer in cats that you have to keep in mind. Sudden preference to breathe through the mouth, repeated panting and snorting, eyes appear bulgy and watery, excessively loud breathing, noticeable facial swelling or bulge in the nasal area, painful vocalizations, significant changes in behavior, bouts of disorientation, confusion, and loss of balance, and sudden vision problems. Next up, let's touch on the probable cause of nose cancer in cats. What causes cat nose cancer? Well, if we're being honest, there is still no exact factor or cause that can be specifically pinpointed to bring about cat nose cancer. However, there are 4 risk factors that are considered to potentially have a key role in the development of nose cancer in cats, particularly genetics and heredity, environment, dental issues, as well as a compromised immune system. Allow me to quickly elaborate on these so you can get a clearer picture. Let's start with genetics and heredity. You can simply look at it like this. If either or both of a cat's biological parents have been afflicted with nose cancer, there is a chance that he will be prone to the disease as well. In this case, cat nose cancer can be deemed as a genetic and hereditary illness. Another risk factor is a cat's environment or surroundings. Let's say a cat lives in an environment where he is constantly exposed to pollution and chemical irritants, such as cigarette smoke, harsh household cleaners, or pesticides, for example. These environmental factors may lead to the proliferation of abnormal and damaged cells in a cat's nasal and sinus passageways, which could potentially result in nose cancer in the long run. Next up is dental issues. This can cover anything from tooth decay, diseased gums, or broken or cracked teeth, as well as persistent sores in and around the mouth and nasal regions. If not properly and immediately taken care of, dental issues may lead to systemic inflammation in the sinus and nasal passageways. Sooner or later, these inflammations may weaken the immune response in the affected areas and set off the development of cancer. And finally, we have a compromised immune system. When a cat has a compromised immune system, his body won't be able to get rid of abnormal and damaged cells directly and efficiently. Chances are these abnormal and damaged cells will continue to multiply since the immune response is not functioning like it should. This can lead to the development of various cancers in the long run, including nose cancer in cats. Before we get to the next part of our discussion, I'd just like to ask you a quick question. Do you have a particular way of checking your cat's nose? Please do share your inputs in the comments section so you can share your ideas to other cat parents. Alternatively, you can also ask a question in the comments if you're having a tricky time checking your feline family member's nose. Now let's discuss a question that I have been asked by lots of cat parents and pet lovers already. Can a cat survive nose cancer? The short answer is, it depends. Due to its severity and precarious nature, proper and immediate medical attention is required to alleviate, if not entirely get rid of, nose cancer in cats. But here's something that a lot of people mistakenly believe. As I have emphasized earlier in this video, conventional medicine and similar procedures that can often become invasive are not just your only options when it comes to properly supporting your cat during nose cancer. Did you know that there are actually natural remedies that you can use to deal with nose cancer in cats? What's really interesting is that you may already have these in the form of spices right in your kitchen or pantry. This brings us to the next portion of our discussion. I will now walk you through 4 herbs that you can use to stave off cat nose cancer. First herb is ginger. It helps disrupt the signaling mechanisms of cancer cells. A study published in the National Center for Biotechnology Information, the NCBI, reveals that ginger contains several bioactive compounds like phenols and polyphenols that obstruct the communication of cancer cells. This interference in their communication helps exterminate cancer cells by preventing them from getting access to resources like glucose that are essential for their survival. To use ginger in supporting your cat during nose cancer, you can peel and grate a sliver of this spice and mix it with your pet's food. Grating helps get rid of the stringy bits that your cat may not like as well. Moreover, just make sure you integrate the grated ginger thoroughly since it can have a prominent spicy kick when eaten straight. Parsley helps trigger cancer cell death. As revealed by another NCBI study, parsley is abundant in a natural flavonoid called apigenin that is observed to trigger cellular death. Additionally, the apigenin in parsley is also seen to help impair the mobility of cancer cells, which keeps them from moving to other areas and setting off further infection. So to use parsley in supporting your cat during nose cancer, you can finally chop about 2 or 3 sprigs of this herb and directly mix it with your cat's regular meals. Just remember not to include the lower stems since these can be quite fibrous when chewed by your cat. Rosemary has compounds that are toxic to cancer cells. Another research highlighted by the NCBI shares that besides having significant antioxidant properties, rosemary is also loaded with phenolic elements that have a cytotoxic effect on cancer cells. This simply means that these phenolic elements poison cancer cells. To use rosemary in supporting your cat during nose cancer, just grab about 2 or 3 fresh sprigs of this herb and chop them finely. Keep in mind to only mix the leaves, and you can just mix the chopped rosemary thoroughly with your cat's food and you're good to go. Now, next up is turmeric. Turmeric is wonderful because it prevents cancer cells from growing and spreading. And according to another NCBI study, the curcumin in turmeric has been seen to inhibit cancer cells from developing and spreading to other areas. The anti-cancer properties of curcumin have already been observed in the treatment and support of several types of cancers, including pancreatic cancer, prostate cancer, as well as neck and head cancer, among others. To use turmeric in supporting your cat during nose cancer, all you have to do is peel and slice a thumb-sized amount of this spice and then steep the slices in a glass of hot water for about 10 minutes. And then you just let the mixture cool down completely, and you can either add this turmeric tea to your cat's meals or water. Remember to store the unused portion in a covered container inside the fridge to retain its freshness. And speaking of natural options to give the right support to your cat during nose cancer, here's a high-quality product that you should consider including in your home pet care checklist. Zumalka's PiptoPet is made from a mushroom called Fomitopsis betulina. Besides being complimented for its remarkable antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties, concrete scientific evidence also shows that Fomitopsis betulina also has the ability to not just weaken cancer cell adhesion, but induce cancer cell death as well. What makes PiptoPet stand out from other natural products available in the market nowadays is the fact that it is designed to promote a stronger and more efficient immune system health rather than just target a specific disease. The stronger your cat's immune system health is, the more resilient he will become to illness and other wellness issues that may unexpectedly get in the picture. If you'd like to learn more about PiptoPet and how it will help you give your cat the right natural support during nose cancer, make sure you check out this video's description for additional details. As a pet parent myself, I know that dealing with cancer can be extremely tricky. This very serious and terrible disease can afflict your animal family member without a warning, and having the right know-how with respect to giving your pet the right support he deserves is definitely an advantage. This is why I'd like to share this detailed yet simple to understand walkthrough on the 6 natural ways to help your cat during cancer. Apart from walking you through useful and practical tips on how to give your pet a better quality of life during cancer, this holistic guide will also give you the lowdown on how you can get the peace of mind you need amid this illness. And while we're on the subject, make sure you also contact us. Doing so lets you connect with a holistic care professional at any time. You can access the link to the 6 natural ways to help your cat during cancer and our Contact Us page in the description of this video. Thank you so much for joining me again, and I hope you learned a lot about giving the right natural support for your cat during nose cancer. I'd really appreciate it if you can hit the like button if you found this video informative, and if you haven't done so already, don't hesitate to click on subscribe so you can conveniently access all of my videos that are centered on keeping pets happy and healthy through natural means. Susie here, your trusted homeopath, saying see you again really soon, naturally with you and your pet every step of the way.